Sam Raimi might be the king of the box office with Doctor Strange, but he did make Spider-Man dance. And we're going to talk all about it on this week's Monday Matinee as we talk Spider-Man 3. Oh boy. Spider-Man 3 is quite the fun film. I mean, this movie went off the rails big time. And we are joined by Kulap Vilaysack to talk about all things Spider-Man. As Jason puts it, imagine going to see a Spider-Man movie and halfway through figuring out, wait, this is not about Spider-Man at all. This is about Mary Jane's failing Broadway career? Oh no. What am I watching? Yes, this movie got us good. Characters don't make any goddamn sense. The dance sequence is truly just the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, it's been joked around about now so many times, but watch it in its glory when it was unironic and people thought it was a cool way to show a bad guy. This is the last stop for Tobey Maguire just until recently when he kind of cleaned up and returned to the franchise in the brand new No Way Home, or whatever it was called. I get confused with these titles and these big ones, but the John Watts one, that was so good. People, if you like Spider-Man, you're also going to enjoy that on Unspooled. We're talking about Into the Spider-Verse. We go deep into the multiverse, and what does that mean? We're also talking about Top Gun and Top Gun 2, but you're not here for that. You are here for Spider-Man 3 talk, but you may want to just have a palate cleanser, so head on over to Unspooled after that. But here, take a listen to a clip from the show.
The movie gets, like, the first and second movie, the CGI are pretty good. This one, it gets worse.
I mean, the Sandman was so bad.
Sandman, best villain of all time?
Hey guys, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I don't know who is running that lab facility, but why are they doing molecular tests in the middle of the night?
Oh, you mean the hot model scientist lab facility where it's all hot women?
Yes.
By the way, did you notice that there were hot women like in scenes where they had no business being?
Well,
Did you notice that toward the very end, and Jason, I do want to hear this point, but toward the very end, there's a scene where J.K. Simmons is talking to that little girl photographer and all the press is around.
Yes.
There's this like tons of press and tons of photographers, and then just a random hot blonde in a fur coat, not a photographer, just there. Those hot women in the physics center, like,
Yes.
It makes no sense at all that they're there.
Well, I mean, but maybe it doesn't make any sense because, like, to Jason's point, they're doing molecular tests at what do you think? What do you say, Jason? What time was that?
It's the middle of the night, right? Because the guy, Thomas Hayden Church has escaped from prison.
That's right.
He's
Yes.
climbed into his daughter's room. He's been thrown out of that room.
Mm-hmm.
He's run and now time has passed. Now the police are alert. I'm saying it's like 2:00 in the morning.
Yes.
And they're firing up those molecular,
Oh,
they're like, we're going to start the test now in the middle of the night. And there's no cameras on the test facility, so they can't see what's going on inside.
Assume it's a bird.
They assume it's a bird.
it's a bird and it's okay. And then when he's climbing over the fence, there's a sign that says particle test facility. Why is it so specific? Wouldn't it say keep out?
Particle
Caution. Why so specific?
But it's really weird. I want to get back to the basics and ask what time period this is taking place in. Because up until he got into that particle test facility, it seemed like the Sandman's whole sequence of going home and to his house that was right by the railroad was in like 1947. And his outfit was like very, oh, brother,
right.
where art thou?
Yes.
Like, it was so weird. He was in a different time zone.
Well, I that whole storyline, you're right. Like, even Teresa Russell, who comes out for, like, one line. Like, I remember I used to think Teresa Russell was this hot, like, sexy, like, Kathleen Turner kind of lady. And then she's just kind of, like, delegated to, like, one line, just like, get out of here. Like, she looks like someone woke her up, like, hey, you get up quick. Come and shoot the scene really quickly. But yeah, I have a lot of issue with time in this movie. Mainly because while that's going on, Peter Parker has seen his girlfriend in a show.
Sure.
So you would imagine that show started at 8, probably ended at 10. Then they went out and hung out in the park for a bit, and then he drove her home.
Oh, by
whatever.
the way,
and then he goes visit. Oh, yeah.
When they're in the park and he's like created a spider web for them to lay in,
Yeah.
and this is supposed to be like they are in love, they have like the chemistry
Yeah.
of like 2 sacks of wet dog shit. Like,
And that's
There
being nice.
is no chemistry between them.
It looks like they don't want to even be
They
together.
don't want to be next to each other.
Tobey Maguire also looks like he's a little older than played the place, but he doesn't look.
Yeah.
The fun of it is out of it for him in this movie. But I had this issue with. So he goes and hangs out with her in the spider web. They're hanging out. He drops her off, and then he goes visits his Aunt May and goes to tell her that he wants to marry Mary Jane. It must be like 2:30 in the morning there too. Like it's like super late to go make a visit to your grandma, or your aunt.
Suffers from insomnia.
She was ready to make some tea.
Well, she came over for 2 lines later on in the movie. Like,
Oh, yeah.
hey, are you okay? All right, later, you'll be fine. Like, what? He went on the subway for that?
So much of this movie. So all right.
There's a part when Thomas Hayden Church turns into Sandman, right? And he's running away from whoever. There is a point where he's introduced where he turns and looks straight into the camera.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did
was
anybody else
weird.
notice this and
Yes.
notice how bizarre it was?
I did
It
not
made me-
know
I
that.
didn't notice
I
it.
noticed it and it made me feel really weird.
I was like, what is happening? Why did somebody allow him to do a straight to camera take?
Well, I think
worked
because
for the
he probably wasn't really on set that much. I guarantee that Thomas Hayden Church is on this movie 3 days max. I mean, he's never he's always the Sandman. You see him
that's
running
true.
in one.
Now, let me ask you about the Sandman, though. So he can only turn into Sandman when there happens to be sand around.
No, he can only be big. He can make himself bigger with some more sand.
Oh, okay.
And
so
there's
he-
always those trucks full of sand running
I
through New York
mean,
City.
a coincidence.
Giant trucks of sand.
that say sand on them. Sand. but okay, so
So
he
New
can be-
York is the perfect place.
New York
for him,
is the
obviously.
perfect setting for him to
full
run
of
wild.
sand.
Look, it's an island, you guys. Manhattan's an island. It works for me. Now, but he can be put out or he can be destroyed by water, right? Because he just turns into wet sand and
No, I mean,
slush.
Yeah, he's not strong in
Okay.
that and then he has to dry out.
But he's strong enough to hold that locket the whole movie.
Yep.
Okay, but then he can also be destroyed by fire at the end.
We can be turned into stone by fire.
Yeah, how they make glass, June.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Sand and fire makes glass.
Okay.
I also had the learning curve was very quick for becoming a Sandman. He literally was, molecularly destroyed, and then he was like, I'm a Sandman. Oh, my arm fell apart. Oh, now I got it. Now I'm not only did I get it, I'm able to turn into literal flesh and create my
Yes.
t-shirt and pants within a second. It was sort of like there was
Yes,
no
completely.
crawling. It was sort of like, oh, I'm sand? Okay, I'm back now.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Oh, shake that off.
Well, it's almost like you would assume he would just be a man made of sand for the rest of the movie. But nope, he's now going to look exactly like he did before, Thomas Hayden Church, wearing a green striped t-shirt and jeans.
And I love that he really did commit to that shirt. He was like, I did like that. He
was
Thomas
in that for
Hayden-
1 week.
He basically went home and was like, yeah, I remember my stripy shirt. I like this shirt a lot. He had to go get that stripy
But
shirt.
that is his outfit in the
Of
comic
course.
book.
That,
But it's,
that is the Sandman's
Oh, I'm
outfit,
sorry.
unfortunately.
No,
Sorry, you guys.
no,
Source
no.
material. Source
but
material.
source material,
That shirt is canon.
That's right. We go all the way back to 2017 for this one. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's what people tell me to tell you to do. And if you want to listen to Spider-Man, the full episode, you can do it right now in the main feed. It's live, baby. It's live. We'll see you next week for a Matinee Monday. Bye for now.